Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order? Would you like French fries, dessert, or a foot
Or an
massage with
awesome
that?
Zerg vs. Protoss on GSL DayBreak.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think we're gonna go with that last option. Zerg vs. Protoss sounds mighty tasty. So let's get right on into it. We have here on the bottom left-hand side on DayBreak, like you mentioned, he is a player for TSL. His name is Hyun. And we're going to be getting the game started in 3, 2, 1, go. On the top right-hand side, we've got the purple Protoss. He is so pretty. That makes him a pretty purple Protoss. His name's EC Welmu. Give a little clap. Okay, so what do you think, man? DayBreak, really wide open natural. Is it safe to forge fast expand?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like it's completely safe to forge fast expand. I really like this map for every matchup because I feel it makes everything so even. The travel distance is far, so the Protoss all-ins aren't going to be as strong, and it really just forces macro games.
Fair enough, fair enough. What do you think of it in ZVT? It's actually one of my favorite ZVT maps.
In ZVT, from which point of view?
Z.
From Zerg, I think it's great for both point of views. Honestly, the only thing I think that is favored about the turn is the 11-11 racks, which is really strong on this map because of the scouting patterns. You can only pick one way to send your first Overlord, and if you don't scout that 11-11 racks, the game's kind of over.
Actually, I like it for the Zerg because of the wide open ramp, like I was just mentioning. It's really easy to get the Roach attack or Baneling attack up against this wide open ramp before wall off comes, and that's really good, like a 6 Baneling or 6 Roach attack.
This is very interesting. He saw that he had the probe at the natural, and he didn't even try to contest it. He just went straight for the third. And Welmu has no idea that he's already gotten that up.
That is epic. So, I mean, this is something you do see a lot, though. I'm sure, yeah, see, now Welmu's just going to go check that. It would be rather vulnerable to a cannon rush as well if he chose to go that route. Yet
It would if you didn't already have link production coming out. I feel like with even 4 links you can stop a cannon rush really easily, especially with how low this probe is.
True that, true that. Okay, probe.
Now I do have a question. Is Welmu on Team Eclypsia? Is that EC or what EC is this?
I'm not sure. I don't know of any team with EC, so if you know one, it's probably that team.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's actually on Team Eclypsia, the team that Desro and Scarlet and all them joined.
Ah, okay. I used to be on the same team as Desro, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. Didn't like that kid.
So be him.
Yes.
But anyways, getting back into this game, we do see him throwing down his third just on time, droning really heavily, going for that Stephano build that we keep referring back to because it's so strong in the ZVP style right now.
Absolutely, Stephano is definitely a trailblazer. We have a cyber core going down for Welmu as well. I want to note it's only one cyber core.
It is always good to have a cyber core.
Never
a cyber core.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we've got the natural third. What are we gonna call this frigging base, dude?
The natural third. What are we gonna call this? We're gonna call it the pimple.
Okay. The pimple is about to pop. It pops. It's injecting pus everywhere. Yet the queen is only now being started. I'm not sure how that works.
Well, the pimple actually infects it so much that a queen feels like it has to come and save the day.
I see.
And the queen comes and it brings the proactive.
It brings the proactive. Wouldn't that mean, like... Dude, this is like such a gross metaphor. Think about when the hatchery dies and like the whole thing explodes and the broodlings come out. That's a pretty fierce fucking pimple.
It is a fierce pimple. It is a pimple that is not to be fucked with.
I see. I see. Okay, lots of drones coming out. This is in fact 43 drones to 36 probes. This is not that sizable of a lead for Hyun, but this is exactly where he wants to be. And at this point, we're going to be looking for some kind of 2-base timing from Welmu. And at this point in the game, Actually, the Roachborn is getting built for Hyun, but he should be sacrificing an Overlord sometime soon to get a count on the gateways. Actually, nope, here's the Overlord. Here at the natural, he sees both gases being taken, and he will probably poke in and see this Robo facility as well. So this is going to be a 4-gate Immortal timing attack, probably with Warp Prism support.
Yeah, this is definitely a build that a lot of Protosses do favor. You know, they do have a couple of Immortals. They do a 2 Immortal push with upgrades, just to do a little bit of damage. Just he's not trying to all in. He's just trying to do some pressure so he can take his 3rd safely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And here are 4 Zealots. Well, 5 Zealots. 1 just got killed off. But they are going to kill off most of these Lings. The Lings are just trying to buy time for the Roaches to pop. The drones are being pulled away. Again, it's just a matter of buying time for the Roaches. Now the drones are coming back. I'm not sure that that's the best decision here, as they will be vulnerable to these Zealots. Yes, drones are dying instead of letting the Roaches tank. Ooh, that Roach barely getting away with its life. I guess that was the goal. He didn't want to lose a single Roach and can now produce 15 drones happily ever after.
Yeah, you know, the Protoss did actually put a lot into that attack for little reward. He didn't get a lot out of it. He killed a bunch of Lings, sure, but at the same time, now this Zerg player has a massive Roach army. Well, I shouldn't say massive. He has about 9 Roaches that he could do a lot with. He could do pretty much anything he wants with. He sees the pylon. He's going to take out the Proxy pylon. And then I wouldn't be surprised if he just went and tried to do some damage with these Roaches. All you see in the camp of Welmu is a lot of sentries. You know, they can force field a ramp every day for the rest of their life. But Roaches eventually will be able to get through and pick off sentries. And then I'm not too sure what answer Welmu will have for that.
So, what is standard at this point for Stephano's Roach build? We've got the macro hatch and the 4th base going down here just shy of the 11-minute mark. Is this normal?
This is a little bit of a deviation, only for the reason of you would not take your 4th this early. At this point, you would be pumping out as many Roaches as humanly possible for an 11 or 12-minute 200 Roach push, and just to completely overwhelm and kill your opponent. If not, by about 11:30, you're supposed to be teching into Infestors, but Hyun's actually taking a big deviation. He's taking his 4th and 5th at the same time, trying to get a huge economy up and taking a big risk. If this does work, Hyun will be able to go hive tech really fast and have no problems.
Do you think the Immortals are scaring him away? Like, he just doesn't want to engage with the massive Roach army?
Absolutely. You know, Immortals are amazing units. They're really strong. They're the tanks of the Protoss army. Something that's really smart here is that Hyun is actually getting Ventral sacks. He's going to do a lot of Roach drops, which is so smart. You know, he's going to pull this Protoss army and eventually just exhaust him until he can just overwhelm him with Roaches, or even with whatever tech he decides to go.
So this might not even be economy with this 4th and 5th base early. This could actually just be aggression.
Yeah, he could be just using them for larva, but I mean, I don't know. I think that he's actually trying to go for a big economy, but he's going to try to harass with Roach drops, which is pretty smart.
And we actually have the Observer observing the Roaches destroying the debris, and the Overseer observing the Observer. The 3rd is going to be targeted down, yet there's an Observer there as well. Force field's in great position. And the Roaches do almost all manage to get away. There were 2 left before sacrifice.
Look at this, man. I love this. Look at this Overlord army coming across the map just saying, come at me.
Yeah, I mean...
This is amazing. I love this.
What's he gonna do? The Protoss army is engaged here with these Roaches. Oh my god, Roaches are gonna get into the main. Force field split up most of the Roach army, but small section was rallied right on in there. These probes are gonna go right to the slaughter, and Welmu just doesn't have the multitasking capability to get them all out in time. The Protoss army is going to get up the ramp. They've defended Most of the roaches at the natural, yet the roaches in the main are still there. Wings are being rallied rather consistently into the natural of Welmu. That's going to save time for the roaches to target down this Nexus. The Nexus goes down. That's huge. Welmu losing his main Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, Hyun did a lot of economical damage there. He took out a Nexus, he killed an entire probe line. He did really well. Now the only thing that you have to ask yourself is, was that many units worth it? Was that many units worth losing it and making the Protoss feel comfortable? Because what the Protoss should feel right now is he says, okay, well his army's dead, so I should be able to just economically chrono out a bunch of probes and just hopefully get my economy back going. But
Yeah.
something that's worth mentioning is Welmu's Nexuses are at almost 100 energy on each, which is just pretty sloppy play in my opinion. You know, you should never have your Nexuses that high in energy, especially when there's such a great tool with Chrono Boost.
This is true. I think Welmu is working under the assumption, like you said, that he's safe to econ, but Hyun has just made Roach Ling and has dropped. He's going to fill this Overlord, the army, with a Doom Drop and move right on into the natural yet again. And that's going to catch Welmu completely out of position. He's in a position to defend either the natural or the third. And that's very logical, but...
I love this. This gives me nerd chills. I love it. This is so smart. I feel like with one or two of these Overlords, he should have loaded them up with Banelings and just dropped them on the funneling units that would come up the ramp. That would be genius. But now he's going to have that perfect concave for him.
Ooh.
He's going to have the perfect concave. He's going to devour the main base, and there's nothing that Welmu can do about it. If he pushes up this ramp, he's in such a terrible position to attack.
I actually
He's
like
even generating creep. Oh, I love it.
Also, Hyun was dropping just a few units here at the ramp. He kept a couple extra in his Overlords. He's also leaving Overlords there. So if Welmu is not microing perfectly, Hyun his army was free to just take out most of the tech and production in the main. Now there's nothing left in the main, and this army, yeah, it's sacrificial, but he's trading it. It's not the most cost-efficient engagement, but Welmu just lost his entire main. He lost most of his tech, most of his gateways. He's got 4 gateways for production now. He was on 9 gates.
Yeah, Welmu realizes that he's like, oh man, this is so terrible. I just lost all of my tech. I have nothing that I can do now. It's going to take me a good at least 5 minutes to get back into this game. But with Hyun having a 4th and 5th base and just having an economic humongous lead, there is no possible way in a million years that Hyun could lose this game. Not even possible.
There would need to be like 20 Colossi on the field for this game to be lost.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
It would just be absolutely disappointing if he lost this game. He could just make Roach Ling forever and win this game because Welmu is so far away from Colossus tech. He still has to get his Robobe up. He still has to get a Thermal Lance. And before then, I mean, Hyun's just going to push right now. He says, okay, well, I can easily just win this right now. There's no need to delay anymore. I can throw roaches after roaches after roaches into my opponent and just kill him.
I love how Hyun's hugging the Protoss army. This is the act of moving his roaches close enough that most of the roaches are targeting the Stalkers, and even though the roaches are going to get cleaned up, look at how much supply Welmu lost there. And
and all of the Immortals and Sentries are dead.
Yes, sir.
That's something that's so huge. The roaches will be able to get into whatever position they want and be completely fine.
What did Hyun do that made Roach Ling possible here that doesn't really work for your average player?
Well, Roach Ling is the absolute best unit composition that you can have early to mid game as Zerg. It's the absolute best. Until you see your Protoss teching into things such as, Colossus, High Templar, etc., then you have to deviate your build a little bit and have the tech to match theirs. But Roach Ling against especially gateway units and Immortals and Sentries, this is just the absolute best unit composition. You could not ask for a better unit composition. You're going to see all these roaches push in. He's just got way too many roaches. This Protoss force cannot get a comfortable position because all of his sentries are out of energy now. He does have one Colossus Bob out. External Thermal Lance is not done. and he can
Ooh.
just basically walk over this.
Colossi actually, well, was like almost killed with one volley of roach hits. The Colossi does manage to walk away, but Welmu drops the GG before any benefit actually comes from that. That was a tough game for Welmu, man.
I loved watching that game. I loved the Overlord play. It's so smart. I would have liked to see a multi-pronged attack though from Hyun, like have a ton of units being dropped in the main and then have 3 or 4 Overlords dropped in the third and just clean up all those probes.
Dude, I just realized something.
What's up?
I forgot to hit broadcast. We gotta do that again.
Fuck you.
I'm
not doing that again.
I'm just
I'm
kidding.
not doing that again. Fuck you, man.
We're still on stream. I'm just kidding.
I still would like to make it public. Fuck you.
Alright, let's move right on into the next game. I do want to go grab a refill on my soda. So give me 30 seconds, guys, then hit F5. F5. Bye-bye.